please hit that like and subscribe button. And this is my book dragon, Douglas. He usually hangs out with me for my book reviews. But, today I have five books to review for you. I thought it was only 2 to 3, but no, it's 5. It's 5. Oh, excuse me. The first one I'm going to start with is the only physical copy that I have right now, because, I loaned the other 2 to a friend as soon as I finished them. So, the first book we have out today, which Douglas is holding, is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Now, I really did not want to read this because I hated President Snow in the Hunger Games. But you know what? 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow, you stole my heart, bro. I felt your pain, your love, your guilt. I felt it all. I loved reading this. And the fact that he fell in love... Spoiler alert. The fact that he fell in love with a District 12 tribute. Bro. But this was just so good, and I loved it so much. Now, the one mistake that I did was watching the movie as soon as I finished it. So disappointing. That movie cut out so much that was in here. So much that made this book so good that the movie just sucked. I wanted to like the movie. I wanted to love the movie, like I did The Hunger Games. But I just couldn't. All I kept doing was pointing out things that were wrong in the entire freaking thing. So, book, love. Movie, disappointed. Very disappointed. Now, the next book that I have, I read on my tiny little phone here, my tiny little screen. Sometimes I'd read it on my laptop, most of the time it's on my phone. It is called A Dream of Blood and Magic. Now, I read this for my NetGalley book reviews that I do. And there are 3 different point of views. We have Avery, our main character. We have Cain and his brother Azazel, or Xavier, I don't know how to say it, but Cain and his brother are both vampires. Avery is an orphan who lives with her roommate CJ in the Bronx. It's either the Bronx or Brooklyn. Is the Bronx in Brooklyn? I don't know New York, but she lives in New York. And she's an artist. She is very, very skilled as an artist. She doesn't do anything with it. She works at a pet store. But she constantly has dreams and visions of Cain and his brother and another witch. I want to say from maybe 1500s. They don't really specify a year or anything like that, but it's a very, very old time where they still burned people at the stake for being a witch. So it was a very long time ago. But she constantly sees these 3 people. She has no idea who the third person is. But she's constantly seeing these people in her dreams, and once in a while she will have a, they call them visions, but I don't want to refer to them as visions. Yes, they are called visions in the book, but I am going to refer to it as like an in-person experience. Like, she's there. She can feel everything that the other witch is going through. She can feel her emotions, smell everything that's around her. So it's not really a vision to me. It's an in-person experience because she is physically there, talking, seeing, feeling everything around her. I don't count that as a vision. So after a while, she ends up going to this club with her roommate CJ. Well, CJ is a DJ. CJ the DJ. I just caught that. That's funny. Anyway, CJ got a remote invite to DJ at this club. Little do they know, it's an underground vampire club. Basically, what the club is, it's basically a trafficking club for vampires. Okay? Humans go in, they don't come out. So she's there, and that's when she finds Kane. And he is surprised that he knows her name. And she finds Kane's brother. Well, then that's when they find out that she is a witch. She doesn't know. Well, she finds out by now that she is a witch because of an elemental spirit that she named Shadow. Because he came crashing through her window as a raven. But that's when she finds out that she's a witch. She's the key to all this other stuff between vampires and witches, and there's this whole fight going on, and there's just a whole bunch of twists and turns and revelations that she has to try and absorb in this book, and she is just over it. But I definitely recommend it. It's very good. It's fast paced. It's thrilling. And yeah, this book, loved it. I loved it so much. So, the next book that I have is called The 13th Child. Now, in this one, there's a lot to unpack with this book. Okay, so it takes. It's obviously fantasy. It's young adult, kind of. I say kind of because we meet our main character, Hazel, before she's even, like, she's talked of in the very beginning. So at, like, the prologue, we meet her parents. They've already got 12 kids, and they find out that they're about to have the 13th child, obviously. Hence the title. The title. And, they are considering throwing her in the river. They already have too many mouths to feed, but they can't afford another one. Well, that's when 3 different gods come to them and make a deal with them. They will raise this 13th child as their own, and they will never have to want for anything if they take it. Well, they say no to the first god, they say no to the second god, but the third god, the god of death, they say yes to. Well, that's when things start going downhill for our little Hazel. See, her godfather, as they call him, he shows up, sees her as a baby, gives her back, and leaves. So for her entire childhood, she is raised by her parents, but they treat her like a slave. They tell her she is not their daughter. They do not love her. They give her the scraps off their table or nothing at all. All her clothes are hand-me-downs from her older siblings. Um, but after a while, her godfather does come back, and he trains her as a healer, and she becomes the best in the land. That she gets asked for by name by the king. Well, she goes to the king and she does something drastic. And that drastic thing, that leads into a tumbleweed of circumstances that leaves her feeling overwhelmed. I'll leave it at that. But the ending of this is really good. I absolutely loved it. And I would definitely read this one. I highly enjoyed it. I loved the ending, and I think it was great. Now, the next book, I do have a hard copy of, but I lent it to a friend because it was really good and I thought she'd enjoy it. So, the next book, this one I got as a May Book of the Month subscription. And I didn't read it until just the other day. There are multiple points of views, but you are not reading the point of view from somebody from an event that just happened. So you're not reading one point of view for an action, and then the next chapter being a point of view for somebody for that same action. It's usually either a few minutes past or a whole nother day, another week, whatever. But it is perfectly done. And it's not overwhelming because there are multiple points of view, not just one or two, but there's like 5 or 6. But it's beautifully done. It's not annoying, it's not obnoxious, or anything like that. But the ending was such a twist that I didn't see it coming. I did not see what was going. So, okay. There are like 4 or 5 people that are hired to kill the king. Alright, no big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. It's treason. You want to kill the king. However, their plan backfires. And when they find out why it backfires, they are stunned. And they find out that they are hired to go and do something else. And that'll be in book 2, which comes out in January, which I will be pre-ordering, which I never do. But I cannot wait to read the second book. But this one, so good. Quick, if you are homophobic or anything like that, do not read this book. That's all. This will not be a book for you. It is very violent as well. So if you're not into violence, descriptive violence, I would also not read this book. So those are my trigger warnings for this book. As for everything else, there's romance, there's cunning strategies discussed, there's betrayal, there's who's lying, who's not lying. It is so good. It is so good. But yes, my trigger warnings for this is do not read it if you are homophobic, and do not read it if you are not into graphic violence. Okay? Now, for the last book that I do have a physical copy for it, but I also loaned that to a friend. And I just finished this book last night. Well, more like 12 o'clock this morning. And I started it sometime Saturday night. Or Saturday morning. Sometime. Anyway, I started it Saturday and I finished it 12 o'clock this morning. But this one is Phantasma. There is a content warning in the beginning of this. This book is not, I repeat, not for anybody under the age of 18. It is a new adult book. It is very, very descriptive in bedroom scenes. So if you're okay with that, go ahead and read it. But if you're not, Don't read this. There is also some horror aspects of this. So if you're not into horror, you're not into sexual content, don't read this book. If you are, you will love this. It is fast-paced. It's based in New Orleans. So when it comes to New Orleans, you know, there's vampires, witches, necromancers, all that magic-y stuff. So Phantasma centers around Ophelia Grimm. She is a necromancer. She is 20. Her and her sister are both in their early 20s. I want to say her sister is 20, 20 or 21, and then Ophelia herself is about 23. Now, they both wake up one morning to their mom dead in the living room. They don't know why. They don't know how. They assume it was a heart attack. So Ophelia immediately has to start a ritual to make sure that she gets the family magic. She does. And that's when they find out that her mother was paying a lot, and I mean a lot, of debt. She is like $30,000 in debt. So Ophelia and her sister, why can I not remember her sister's name? I just read it. What's her sister's name? Genevieve. I knew it would come to me. So Ophelia and Genevieve end up arguing about the debt because Ophelia, she never got to actually like go outside and have a social life or anything like that because her mom was constantly training her and teaching her all about being a necromancer and everything. Whereas Genevieve, she did get to have a social life. So once in a while, she'd get to go outside, she'd get to collect the mail, and she kept secrets from Ophelia regarding the debt to the bank, regarding the money on their house, Grimm Manor. Grimm Manor has been in their family for centuries. Nobody else has lived there other than the Grimm family. So they both enter into a competition. Phantasma. Phantasma is the competition. It is what is called as the Devil's Manor. You go in, you deal with all these hauntings and trials within the seven sins, and if you're the last one alive, you get a prize. And it's whatever you ask for. There are devils inside, and demons, and other ghosts and shit like that. And you can make deals with them to help advance your luck in Phantasma. I keep pointing over here when it's over here. Probably because this is my dominant hand. But anyway. So Genevieve and Ophelia have an argument after visiting the bank regarding the debt for the house. Well, Ophelia goes home, tries to find Genevieve, and that's when she finds out that Genevieve has been wanting to enter Phantasma for a while, just to win the prize and take care of anything that Mom was having issues with before she died. Well, Ophelia joins to go and save her sister. There's two rules to Phantasma. One, enter at your own risk. Two, don't fall in love. Lo and behold, Ophelia ends up breaking these rules, but it ends up working out for her in the end. So, you have to get past level 7 before you can see any other contestants. So, Ophelia meets Blackwell, a phantom who can be solid, like, she can feel him, touch him, do whatever, and I mean, do whatever. Or he can be so transparent that she can't see him at all and she can only hear him. Well, she makes a blood bargain with Blackwell. He has been trapped there for centuries. She helps him get out, and he will end their bargain. If he doesn't get out, he takes 10 years off her lifespan. So, with his help, she gets through all the trials, finds her sister, they figure everything out. But the ending, oh, the ending is where it got me. I'm not going to tell you the ending because of what a twist that it is, but I'm telling you now, this book, I've never read a book so fast. It was amazing. I loved it. Book 2 comes out next year, and that is for Genevieve. So this one was about Ophelia. Book 2 is about Genevieve. But I love this book. I love the ending. It was a 10 out of 10 for me. I suggest this highly. Seriously. So that is all the books that I have for you guys. Now I'm probably not going to post anything the beginning. Sorry, I have the hiccups. The beginning of October, because that's my wedding. So I will be super busy with that and my honeymoon. So I will be back at the end of October for another unboxing and book review. So right now I am reading The Stolen Heir by Holly Blackwell. Or is it Blackwell, or am I just saying Blackwell because of Holly Black? There we go. She wrote The Cruel Prince. So when I finish the Stolen Heir duology, I will be on to do reviews for that. So thank you, everybody, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!